Welcome to the Coachzing Show, offering you the latest creative content marketing tips to help you work less, earn more, and help more people. Are you a coach zinger yet? Join the community where the world's best coaches, therapists, authors, and speakers come to discover the latest industry trends and partner with other like-minded professionals. Go to coachzing.com/community to join. And now, here's your host, Doug Foresta.
Hello, welcome back to the Coachzing Show. This is Doug Foresta. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a tribe? And let me ask you another question. Do you know what a tribe is? So, it's funny because a lot of people that I talk to say, well, I have to build my email list. But is your email list, is that a tribe? Does everyone who has an email list have a tribe? And what does that mean? So today, Janet Beckers returns to talk with me about this very topic. I know you get a lot out of this episode, so stay tuned. This is part of our Deeper Dive series where we bring people back on the show to talk about more in depth about content marketing. I'll say a little bit about Janet and bring her right on. I'm very excited about this topic. I think it's such an important one for coaches, speakers, and authors, for all of us that are wanting to get out there in a bigger way. Australian Janet Beckers took the internet industry by storm when she went from totally unknown to an award-winning six-figures business in just a few months. She's known as the wonderful web woman and has gone on to mentor thousands of people around the world, become a best-selling author, movie star, international speaker, and even won the award Australian Marketer of the Year. She's done all of this without spending a cent on advertising. Her entire business plan has been built on relationships, and she has developed a system to show you how to do the same. She has a reputation for telling things the way they really are, without the hype, and with a cheeky sense of humor. Her signature book, Romance Your Tribe Online, How to Build a Tribe of Loyal Fans Who Love Your Brand, quickly became an Amazon #1 bestseller. And in fact, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is that building your tribe. Janet Beckers, welcome back to the Coachzing Show.
Hey, and thank you so much for having me back. And thank you, everybody who's trusting us with your time today.
Thank you. So, let me start with this question, which I guess is maybe the first place to start, is what is a tribe? What do you mean by a tribe?
And, this is something that lots of people have very different ideas on what a tribe is. And sometimes, people might go, well, I've got a huge mailing list or a mailing list, therefore I have a tribe. That's not a tribe. A tribe is much more complex. So I find a really good way to be able to define a tribe is if you look at somebody who's done a lot of work on tribes, which is Seth Godin. He's got a really great definition. So I'll give you his definition and then I'll talk about the core things that you can pick out of that actually help you to know if you can create a tribe. So he defines a tribe is it's a group of people who are connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. So for millions of years, human beings have been part of one tribe or another. A group needs only two things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate. So if I really like that definition of a tribe, but to make it clearer for people and how that actually relates to you and your business, a lot of people think, the idea of being a leader, for example, he talks about that it needs to create around a leader. People often think, well, to be a leader, you have to be one of these charismatic people that, that are seen as the natural leaders, the Richard Bransons of the world. Whereas really, you can be as dull as dishwater. There is a tribe of people out there that love people who are as dull as dishwater. Not that anybody here listening is dull and boring, but the thing is, the important thing here is a tribe will form around a shared interest and a way to communicate. Now, the way to communicate is done for us all, honestly, through social media, through how easy it is to be able to use email, through using video, using YouTube, those sorts of things. We have our way to communicate. So you can say to people, look, this is where we're going to hang out. This is the Facebook page, or this is the forum, whatever it is. But the thing that defines if you're going to be a leader or not is around that idea. So if you can clearly articulate the idea about this is what we believe in, this is what we stand for, and this is what we don't stand for, if you can clearly articulate that, and if that idea is core to what your business message is, then you're going to create a tribe of loyal fans who love your brand. They will see you as the leader. So the leader doesn't have to be this unattainable, charismatic person. It is the person who can clearly say, this is what we believe around here, and hey, this is where we're going to hang out, and we're kind of going to give it a name and its own language, and that just happens to be the name and the language that I use in my business and my brand. That's how you will create a tribe.
Well, I really appreciate that you're saying that, because I think a lot of people do have this idea of a leader of a tribe being this cult-like, unbelievably charismatic person, Richard Branson, and the idea that it's that we don't have to be that, and of course, we can be somewhere between dull and Richard Branson. There's probably a lot of room in between. for the rest of us.
Yeah, you'd hope so. And see, that's the thing is, I say the dollar's dishwater, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but, the thing that I find all the time with the people who I'm working with, that, you'll end up with, I might have, say, 100 people who are, who are actively part of my community that are, say, define themselves as personal coaches, for example. That's a lot of apples to compare to apples. But people, some people are going to go, look, I really get drawn to the personal coach that's kind of the take no prisoners type one. And other people are turned off by that. They really want somebody who is gentle. And somebody else wants somebody who is very, very methodical. So that's one of the core things is actually, being true to what your own style is, your own way of communicating, and being so true to it that you are consistently that way. So people know, you know what, this is a place I hang out with when I want to learn about personal development in a way that is whatever are those particular styles was. And for the dollar's dishwater person, they might see themselves as being I'm very, very straight and methodical, and I don't take chances, and I, just say things how they are without embellishment. They may see themselves as, well, that's not very exciting. There's going to be a big group of people that will breathe a sigh of relief and go, at last, this is what I've been looking for. Someone I feel I can trust because they communicate in that way.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's been the opposite, which is I hear some of those people like, you have to be, the marketer, and I really like a lot of them. You have to be, you got to take the stand, and you got to alienate people. And I'm not really like I'm kind of more like my personality is just more like gentle, and I don't really have like I'm sure there's people who don't like me, but I don't know that I alienate people. I don't. It's just not. If I did that, it wouldn't be me. And so, right, it's like there's room for all of us in these different.
Absolutely. And, just on that point of alienating, it is actually, in a way, it is important not to alienate as in being aggressive. I think some people, well, that's their natural style. They'll have the world can burn type thing, and that works for them, and they will attract people who are attracted to that. At the same time, I'm sure you do this as well, Douglas, that, well, for me, I am anti quite a few things.
Yes.
And so, for example, I'm really, really anti the hard impersonal sell where let's just make a sale and just accept that we're going to have 30% refunds because people are going to get the product and be unhappy with it. I can count the amount of refunds I've had on one hand actually, over 7 years of business.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. So for me, I'm really anti, talk it up, get the sale, expect that you're going to really, really disappoint a lot of people. So I am anti that and very vocal about it when it happens. You still have what you stand for and what you stand against.
Definitely.
You don't necessarily have to sledge everybody that does things in that particular way, but you make a stand for what you agree with. And that's being clear on what your values are and being congruent with that. So if you keep on swapping it around and say, I really am against this, but then do something the same yourself or promote somebody that works in that way, you're going to lose trust.
Right.
And then your tribe will start to dissipate. So the strength of the tribe, really probably the very first step that people listening need to know in order to be able to know that you can create a tribe and naturally draw people to you and your business is, I said at the very beginning, you have to be able to clearly articulate what you stand for and what you don't stand for. And that can take quite a bit of introspection. You've got to take that time to really think about, well, you know, what do I believe and what does my company stand for, you know, in my field of what I'm doing. And if you're really clear on it, then it's very easy to stay congruent and stay consistent.
So let me ask you another question that I get from coaches, which is, and I'm saying this in a way that this is not necessarily how they ask it, but this is kind of what they're asking, which is, what do I do with my tribe? So let's say I start to build a following and I start to build a tribe. What do I do with them? I can't pitch them all the time, right? But so I know that's a big question, but can you say a little bit about sort of, you know, if you start to build a following in a tribe, what do you do with them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And you know what? Part of this will be going back to what your core strengths are, the way that you like to communicate with people. So for an example, what a lot of my clients do and what I teach them to do is through a program I have called Me TV is every single week, and I've been doing this for 3 years now, I send a video out and my clients do the same thing. It's only about 3 minutes, but it's a gift that I'm giving to people, where I'm every single Monday morning, they will get a video that has a marketing tip or an inspiration or a story or a spotlight on my clients. So that's being consistent, giving that sort of message of I'm always here, I never let you down. I'm going to be here every Monday morning with a gift for you. You don't sell in them, they're always gifts. You might decide, you know, and video is particularly powerful because even though, you know, you may not make sales from those, when people do then come to make the sale, they feel as if they know and trust you. There's lots of, depending on what your particular preference is, you might find it that you're, you know, every week or a couple of times a week, you're giving a really good valued blog post that you're doing, or you're sharing handy tips, or you might be sending out images. You might be a very graphical person. You could be sending something that's, you know, like an infographic, some way where you're constantly keeping in contact and giving a gift of really good value information that they want, that's solving their problems without asking for anything in return. But what I do recommend people do is get people used to the idea of clicking. So, you know, I don't send everything just in. I don't just send everything in the one email that I send out to them. I will put it on my blog and say, you know, here's the part of it. Click here to go over and read the rest. Or with my video, it'll have, you know, the transcript is below it. So go there to read the transcript, because it's getting them used to the idea that when I get an email from them or a Facebook post, I'm expecting to click. So when you do send ones that are saying, you know, I've got something to sell you, click here to go over and read the sales letter, the idea of clicking is not foreign. So, I mean, that's just a really handy tip, but it does help people when they feel as if I'm giving lots of great content. People got annoyed when I made a sale. That's a way of you being able to have some kind of behavior that people are used to.
I love that. That's brilliant. Thank you. And yeah, I don't know if I've seen this happen with other people, where part of the power of a tribe is that I don't know if this has been your experience, Janet, but I find sometimes that people are so interested, if somebody's really a hardcore member of your tribe, that you could almost develop any program and people will just follow you because they like you and they go, well, Janet's doing it. Must be good.
Yes. I must admit, I do have a core group of people. I can remember there was one client in particular where I put out a program that was actually a module of an existing program. I was just taking a module out of it and selling it at a lower price. and she bought it. And I went back, and this is actually the third time that she'd done when I'd done something similar. Also with a workshop I was selling for $1,000, she bought the ticket, and I had to go back and say, look, I'm going to have to give you money back because you've already got it. You've already got this, and you already get the ticket to the workshop with what you've already purchased. Stop clicking. But there is that. I have had that where people have said, look, I'm not really quite sure what I'm buying, but I just wanted to buy it because it was you and I knew it would be good, which is really, that's quite lovely. But, that's the other thing within a tribe, and this happens in traditional tribes that are unrelated to your business, is people see that a tribe is just one person leading it. Well, in reality, within a tribe, you end up getting a few different leaders. And I see that's where it becomes really quite strong. As long as they're still really dedicated to the idea that tribe is joined around, it's actually really important for you as that leader to foster people who are showing leadership and show a passion for what you're doing, to foster them to be able to step up as a leader. So it might mean, for example, I have a private Facebook group only for customers. I have certain people within there that are really starting to step up as leaders. And so if somebody asks a question, instead of me answering it, I know I can, sometimes I will say, you know what, and I'll tag the person who often answers that on there. I'll say, this person is really good at that. In fact, this is something they do through their business. I'm sure they can help you, because it's encouraging other people to step up and be leaders, and they will then be the people that become the very, very strong advocates for you in your brand. An example of that at the moment, I've been really fortunate to become a finalist in a new award that's just started in Australia, which is called the Australian Trust Awards for the most trusted business in Australia. Now, I didn't even realise I had been nominated, but I had found out I'd been nominated 3 different times by 3 different customers. Getting through to the finalists was because of my customers. But now that we're down to the final 10, these beautiful, leaders that have been nurtured through my tribe are now actively going out on Facebook saying, let's get behind Janet. Let's get her to the top. And I'm thinking, wow, I just went to bed last night and I've woken up and you're all doing my work for me. Thank you. So that will happen. So I guess the lesson from that is these people who do become your raving fans, don't just keep them in the position of, well, you're just a fan, you stay there, know your place. Nurture them, mentor them to become a leader within your community as well. You still are the main leader. You're the person holding the idea, creating the space, like I've done through my private Facebook group, but giving them that opportunity to be able to show themselves as being leaders.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I love that. I wanted to make sure before we ended to ask you this question, as you were saying that, about what do you see as some of the things that to look out for as you're nurturing your tribe? I guess, like I said, I think of it as like tribe killing behaviors, or what are some mistakes that we should look out for as we nurture and build our tribe?
Actually, that's a really good question, Doug. And you know what? You're the first person that's asked that, so that's a good question. Thinking back on things that could easily have threatened my tribe and have resulted in me having to do something that nips it in the bud, and at some times I've had to go into damage control mode. And this has been when acting incongruently with what the core message is. And it's so significant in my brain that I can actually remember the 2 distinct situations where I broke my own rules and promoted something that actually was not aligned with my core message. And that was the people who I were promoting it were doing business in a way that was much more that old-fashioned, testosterone-laden, really high-pressured make the sale.
Yeah.
And each time I did it because of peer pressure, because for whatever reason, there was a competition going. And I thought, yeah, I'm gonna win this one. And then my list backlash going down. And, people would send me an email saying, you've betrayed me. I thought you were a classy chick. And when I went back to other people who were also promoting, they went, no, we didn't get any of that. And I thought, well, that's because my list, my tribe expects a higher standard.
Right. You have certain brands.
So, yep, you have got, if you know what and this is twice in 7 years. One time I didn't actually realize that the person I was promoting had gone and done something really, really dodgy with their marketing, and I didn't realize it until after I'd promoted. So I had to distance myself. But that's the importance of, you've got to take the time to get very, very clear on what you stand for. And I actually now have a list of what I call non-negotiables. I will only do a joint venture partner. I will only be interviewed by. I will only promote. I will only create a program that meets these criteria. So you have to be very, very clear on that. And the other one is, if you notice behavior within your community that is not congruent with the culture that you have set. For example, in my private Facebook group, which is only customers. So that's the core, the real strength of my tribe, the people who've paid money rather than people who are just on my list. We have a culture of, we are here to help each other. We are not here, we give before we take. And because of that culture, it's a beautiful community. People talk about, I would just pay the money to be part of this community. Occasionally I will get somebody that likes to use affiliate links or sees this lovely, very highly targeted list and can't help themselves, but say, sometimes even an affiliate link for a competitor for me will say, oh, wow, have you seen this new program? Well, I have to make sure very quickly that I delete the post and I give them a 3 strikes and you're out message. Sometimes people just don't realize that they're going counter to the culture, because other groups, that's okay. So you also have to, people don't realize I'm doing it. People, every now and then I'll say to people, you don't realize that, I am actually pruning behind the scenes to make sure that there are only the people in our tribe know what the behavior is that's expected. So that's a part of being very clear on what you stand for, and expecting people in your tribe to honor that as well. And if they don't honor it, to say, look, hey, this is the way we do things around here. We really love to keep you actively involved. And I've never had anybody that's just gone, nah, that's too high a standard, I'm out of here. Everybody pulls into line.
So please do share. I mentioned at the beginning, I know that you have a book that you've written since we last spoke called Romance Your Tribe Online, How to Build a Tribe of Loyal Fans Who Love Your Brand. So please tell people how they can get the book, and also, just how you help people. Open it up to you.
Yeah, sure. The best way you can actually get a free chapter or 2 chapters of my book. So if you go to, actually, I've made a website that's specifically for the book. So if you go to romanceyourtribe.com, then you'll be able to get a couple of free chapters of my book. Plus, I included case studies of best practice throughout the book. I've interviewed 13 different people, and so when you sign up there to get those chapters, you'll also get the interviews of all of those people. So there's some really good case studies of best practice, and you'll also get some really good free training that shows you really how do you, step by step, how do you do this in your own business. I also have a way in there where you can promote yourself as well, because I'm really into helping to shine the light on the other people. So that's a good place to go, romanceyourtribe.com, and you'll be able to get a copy of the book, or the first few chapters of the book. And you can also buy the book there as well.
Janet Beckers, I'm so impressed with your work and with all you've done. I may be most impressed that you were able to get romanceyourtribe.com as a URL.
Hey, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes. You said that.
And
I'm like, how did you get that?
Yeah, I was also able to trademark it as well, which I thought was, that was
wow.
good.
So, well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. I'm really wanted to talk about, it's such an important topic. We haven't talked about it very much on the show. So thank you so much for all of the brilliant takeaways and insight you've shared with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome, Doug, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to everybody.
Thank you. So thanks everyone for listening. We will be back Monday through Friday with more great guests helping you to work less, earn more, and help more people through creative content marketing. Till next time, this is Doug Foresta at The Coachzing Show.
Thanks for listening to The Coachzing Show. Need help getting your book out of your head and onto paper? Need help marketing your books or speaking engagements? We can do it for you. Go to Coachzing.com to learn more. Are you a coach zinger yet? Join the Coach Zingers community where the world's best coaches, therapists, authors, and speakers meet. You'll get exclusive access to private mastermind calls where you can get instant marketing help from industry experts. Plus, we'll help you forge deals and partnerships with other like-minded professionals. Go to Coachzing.com/community to join now.